Hello everyone, I invite you to every Friday cryptocurrency review. Let's start by checking the current situation on BTC in the USDT pair, taking into account the one-day interval. First, we will use blue lines to mark the main channel of the upward trend, from which the price tried to exit at the bottom, but we can see a quick return to the channel. Then we can similarly determine the second channel that is starting to form, with a downward trend. And here we can mark a lower peak, then a lower bottom, and currently we can see that a slightly but higher peak has formed. In this situation it is worth watching whether we will see the formation of a higher bottom, which could result in a strong price rebound again. In such a situation, we will unfold the fib retracement SAT to check in which places we can expect possible support. And here we see support at the level of $41,829. Then we have support at the level of $40,582. And then again we should keep in mind the zone from $39,680 to $38,553. When we turn on the EMA cross 10 and 30 indicator, we will see an interesting situation, because we can see the red line trying to go up from the green 30 line, which would confirm the return to a strong upward trend and result in a further price increase. If such a situation occurs, it is worth knowing that the price is currently testing resistance around 0.382 fib. And then we can see significant resistance around $45,030. Further, we must take into account the very strong resistance zone from $46,779 to $49,024, where the current price peak. However, please pay attention to the RSI indicator, which allows you to determine the downward trend line at which you can see the indicator rebounding again, and you can see that there is room for the continuation of the downward trend. Moreover, when we switch to the stock indicator, we will see a movement near the upper limit of the range, with room for the price and indicator to recover, which may translate into a downward move or a temporary sideways trend. As the second chart in today's review, we will check ETH in pair with USDT, also on a one-day time frame. First of all, we can use the blue lines to mark an upward trend channel, in which the price is struggling to exit the channel at the top, but it is clear that it has a problem with this. Looking at the current situation, we will use the fib retracement tool, thanks to which we can determine the prevailing resistance points for price increases. And here, right at the upper border of the channel, there is strong resistance around $2,400, which for now effectively discourages the price from further growth. However, if we see a breakout and a positive test, we will be able to see an upward movement towards the next very strong resistance level at $3,334. Looking the other way, we can similarly mark places where the price should encounter support. And here, first of all, it is worth determining the support at the level of $2,021, which was previously an effective resistance for the price. But then we have a very strong support zone from $1,592 to $1,281, where we could observe reflections in both directions. When we turn on EMA cross 10 and 30, we will see that the red line EMA cross 10 has returned below the green EMA cross 30, which confirms the return and continuation of the downward trend. On the RSI indicator, you can determine a downtrend line from which the indicator effectively bounces. However, on the stock indicator, there is still room for a potential upward movement, but it is also visible that the current movement resulted in a slight price increase on the chart. Third, we will check the BNB chart on a 4-hour time frame. We will start by defining, using the blue lines, the downward trend channel in which the price holds, and slightly using the yellow lines, we can determine the upward trend channel in which we are approaching the lower border. Let's now move on to marking the support areas for the price, and after unfolding the fib retracement grid, you can see strong support at the lower border of the channel at $291. But here it is worth spreading the grid again in a smaller range, thanks to which you can see the support that currently holds the price around $297. However, when the price bottoms out from the first and second support, we may see a drop to around $272. Looking the other way, we can similarly determine the resistance areas that the price must face. And here we see that the price is effectively rejected by the strong resistance zone from $308 to $321, but when it breaks above it, we will be able to see an upward movement towards the resistance level at $342. When we look at the RSI indicator, we will see that, similarly to the stock indicator, we are near the middle of the range, with room for a potential deepening of the correction. The last one in today's list is the SOL chart in the USDT pair, on a 4-hour time frame. Let's start by defining, using the blue lines, the downtrend channel from which we can see the exit at the top. However, here, locally, the yellow color can be used to indicate a downward triangle in which we are approaching a potential direction of movement. Here it is worth looking at EMA cross 10 and 30, as they indicate the entry into a local downtrend, which could potentially result in a larger decline. In such a situation, it is worth checking potential support areas. And here we can see how the price is struggling to maintain the level of $96. However, if the level is broken and we exit the triangle at the bottom, the next support is around $89. And further support is visible at the level of $79. Looking the other way, you can see a narrow range between support and the first resistance, which is at the price of $97. Moving above the resistance and the descending triangle may result in an increase to around $108. And then you can see resistance at the level of $116. When we switch to the RSI indicator, we can define a falling triangle from which the exit at the top resulted in a quick return to a specific triangle. While on the stock indicator, we can define a downward trend line that the indicator must break to return to the upward trend. Technical analysis is provided by a third party, and for informational purposes only. It does not reflect the views of CryptoDaily, nor is it intended to be used as legal, tax, investment, or financial advice.